Hi everybody and welcome to Tano Talks. We are Tano Spirits and I'm Fletch.
And I'm Kevin.
And we are about to begin taking you through a massive journey that is going to take years for us to accomplish. We are setting up a Japanese shochu distillery here in Melbourne, Australia. We have made a fair bit of progress, but what we want to do in Tano Talks is two things. One, we're going to tell you all about our journey, and two, we're going to teach you all about how shochu's made.
Yeah, Shochu and Awamori, Japan's #1 spirit. The highest selling spirit in Japan, higher than whiskey, higher than rock, higher than sake,
Nihonshu.
selling, and we are bringing it to Australia.
Yes,
and we're bringing you along with us.
We're going to take you on a journey. This is the first video in many. We've already started. We've been doing this for about a year now.
Not these videos though.
Not these videos, but this is the first videos. Not these videos.
Just tonight.
But we've been doing this. Now, why we're doing this, well, man, we love shochu. We love shochu.
Shochu is the day I fell down the shochu rabbit hole was during isolation in COVID times when I had nothing else to do other than Google new things to drink. And that's where I found out about shochu.
Yeah. Mine goes a bit further back to when I was 18 years old, living in Cairns, working at a seafood wholesaler.
What?
Yeah. Working at a seafood wholesaler where basically what we would do was go down and get the tuna straight off the boat and put them straight on a plane to Osaka. Now, in conjunction with that, what we would actually do is we would go and deliver fresh tuna to the Japanese restaurants in Cairns.
Wow.
In the process of that, I sat down with one Japanese chef, and I'm pretty sure his name was Sammy. I can't remember the restaurant, but he introduced me to shochu when I was 18 years old. Fast forward a few years, going back to Japan about 6 or 7 years ago, I got straight back into shochu. So
wow,
I've loved this shit for a very, very long time. Back then, when I was 18, I had no idea what it was. I thought it was rad. I thought it was cool. It was something weird. It wasn't sake.
Yeah.
But that's where I first met it.
That's so cool. I did not know that about you. Actually, now thinking back, I go back to my first time in Japan, which was 2014. And I remember going to bars in Tokyo, and I remember ordering chuhais. And I was like, chuhais, they sound cool. They're just basically some kind of white alcohol with soda water and lemon. And I thought they're really tasty. And then and even though they're not necessarily made with shochu, that was what kind of got me. That was what got me onto shochu and this like refreshing new beverage that I eventually, fast forward 10 years when I'm sitting in isolation going, oh, what's that drink I had in Japan again? And then Googling it and then falling down the shochu rabbit hole.
We've both been down the shochu rabbit hole so far. I have heavily researched production, everything about it. My background is I'm a very creative person. I'm a street artist. I'm a toy maker. I run a toy shop. I love making things. I love the process of making things. I love working out the intricacies. And with my ADHD, I hyper-focus, and I go down massive rabbit holes. And sometimes that's just goes by the wayside, but sometimes it sticks.
Well,
and my love of shochu and how it's made has been like such a primary focus for me for years. About maybe 7 or 8 years ago, because distillation at home is illegal in Australia. I started down the journey of making makgeolli, and makgeolli turns into shongju, which turns into real soju. But Asian drinks and Asian spirits have been a massive passion for me for a very long time.
Asian spirits are a huge thing that I have fallen into in the last few years. You know, starting with like things like Japanese whiskey to become, to soju. And
Real soju.
Well,
not the green bottle shit.
Not real soju initially, but it's what is soju, and then like you type into Google what is shoju, what is shochu, and you find out so many things. And me being from Scotland, knowing about whiskey my entire life, and then realizing that there's a whole world out there of other ways in which you can distill to distill an alcohol is it was and when I not jumping ahead I guess to how we met, but like my background is engineering and I work in oil and gas, so even though I was sitting thinking about what do I want to do with my life, and then going, well, you know what? Like, actually making alcohol isn't that much different from making oil and gas. It's all about heating up.
John Ford's the president. Yeah. He's looking at electricity shit. So this one needs to be 60 amp. I'm like, yeah, okay, man. I trust you.
Heating things up, separating things, getting the things you want out of from heat. That is essentially distillation, and that was the other jumping off point for me.
Yeah. So, funnily enough, we actually met through a thing here in Australia called TDI.
TDI, the Distillers Institute.
Amazing. Absolutely. If you're interested in becoming a distiller or anything, TDI has been great.
We will chuck a link to it down below or above, wherever it comes out.
Cannot recommend them highly enough.
Very, very nice, yeah.
We both did their course, which was basically talking about how to set up a distillery in Australia, tailored to Australian distillers. And we actually met through the Facebook group.
That's right,
and we were chatting. And I was sitting there.
How did we meet though? Wait, how did that? What do you remember?
I remember. So I had a meeting with Anne, talking about all that stuff, and then I think that you mentioned in a comment in the group something about shochu.
Yeah.
And going like, oh, I want to make shochu, and then I'm like, immediately my thought was like, fuck, it's past 1 minute.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, there's somebody else wanting to make shochu in Australia. I need to get my shit in
right.
here.
You need to get in front of this guy.
I need to like go, right? But I remember I commented on something, and honestly, we would probably go back to the beginning of our Facebook chats and work it out. But we just started chatting and stuff. And we did that for a good 6 months or so, just talking about shochu, like going through shochu and that. And then we went to the sake festival last year.
Yeah, that's right. About a year. Yeah, you're right. About a year ago. 1 year ago, there was a sake festival. I think it might be the first sake festival.
It was the first one here
in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It was at the Queen Vic Markets, for those of you who know, and we both met at that one for the first time in person, and we had a great time.
Great time. Got drunk.
We walked around. Yeah. We talked to all these sake sellers, distributors. There was some
didn't find enough shochu.
Not enough shochu, but sake is similar enough. And it was a really good time.
It was a great time. Fast forward maybe about a week or two later, and we've been catching up and chatting, and I remember we went and caught up at Raccoon Club. We sat down and we're having a few drinks, and I just kind of blurted out. I looked at Kev and I just went, "So, dude, are we just gonna fucking do this together?"
It was like a first date.
Except it was definitely a first date.
Except dude. You weren't asking to go home with me. We were asking to start a business together.
It was such a first date moment.
Yeah.
I remember it because I went home and I went, damn. He didn't actually give me a real answer. and I got home. We talked about it, and I got home, and I'm like,
oh no,
is he gonna message me? I was like, yeah, it was like total first date shit. But sometimes I just bluntly blurt shit out. And long story short, Kev thought it'd be a great idea to team up with me.
I had the same thought too. Yeah. I just wasn't gonna say it until you did. Yeah. Now that was almost a year ago now.
That was almost a year ago.
Yeah. So we're like, where are we at?
Yeah. So how we met? Like, since then, look, we've kind of talked about why we love Japanese spirits, right?
Yeah.
Like, our mutual passion for them comes from the fact that Japanese spirits and honestly, we're not going to just relegate ourselves to Japanese spirits. Asian spirits and
Asian
traditional,
spirits,
traditional. What does Jeff Rubridge on the Muckley channel call it? Rustic Asian rice wines. He's into like traditionally produced, beautiful like spirits that are made differently to any other distillations in the world, apart from maybe mezcal, and many correlations.
I think that's a really good, like, that was what I was hunting for, like, a year ago when I was looking for something to make, something to try, something to experiment with, and it wasn't going to be gin because it's been done so much. Whiskey is...
And I don't like gin, so...
Whiskey is whiskey. Like, whiskey's great, but, like, whiskey is... everyone's doing whiskey. Rum, and, there was nothing that was really, like, pulling at me. Until I came across Shochu. And, the depth of how you make it.
So unique.
The different base ingredients. Koji itself. We'll hope to do a whole episode on Koji. To see, just to give you so many levers to pull on the flavor profile that I was like, this is it. This is like the rabbit hole I'm going to dive down.
It's such a versatile spirit. Right, like Shochu, it's so versatile. It can be used in so many different ways. There are so many different flavor profiles. It's made from many, many different ingredients. The most important thing, I think, to me also is I'm a huge history buff, and I love learning about things in the past and the history behind Shochu and the traditions and that. We're obviously not Japanese. Obviously, right? But we have such a profound respect for the history of this drink that we want to pay homage to it in our own way. We want to look at ways in which we can add to that culture in our own unique Australian way as well. Right?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I mean, not to take away anything that's happening in Japan and Shochu, how it's made. Shochu is a Japanese spirit. But we have such the diaspora of Asian, like people who come from Asia in Australia, is so big that it would be a shame not to have our own style of Shochu in Australia.
I mean, by doing so, we actually also want to elevate awareness of Shochu in Japan.
And it's, like I say, it's the most popular spirit in Japan, and it's very little known outside of Japan.
Yeah, and I think we're in a unique position whereby we can help to drive awareness of that, and that people won't just buy our drinks, but they'll buy all the Japanese producers' drinks.
Japanese spirits,
we want to push and promote it as much as possible. That's one of the most important parts of actually why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So we have many hopes and dreams. Our hopes and dreams involve us actually getting the distillery open and producing something. I want to sit there and hold our first bottle in my hand and say, "Holy shit, dude, we made this."
We made this,
right?
Yeah.
And it's part of our entire business that when we make this, we teach people and we disseminate all of the information that we have about Shochu to as many people as we possibly can.
Yeah, because I think like there's such a mystery surrounding spirits in general, not just Shochu, but like everything. There's like there's a lot of words that are thrown around in distilling. About tradition and magic and the distillation. But
it is magic.
No one really knows.
I believe in magic. Come on.
I mean, it is pretty magical, but it like we are not the people who are going to be like, this is a secret and we shouldn't be sharing it. We want to share with everyone out there how this spirit is made and why it's so cool.
Yeah.
Why it's something you should drink. Why it's something you should experiment with at home. Why it's something you should order at a bar. Why it's something you should tell your friends about. Because it is a cool thing, and it has such a history and such a there's a lot of play to be had in the spirit. So we're really excited to like spread that with you out there.
Look, ethos-wise, my entire life has been about sharing information. The toy community and stuff that I created in that, it's all about divesting information. Open source of as much as we possibly can. We want to teach you through our journey how this stuff's made. If you want to, if you're in New Zealand and you can do it legally, how to make it at home,
Please
how to make your own
tell us.
koji, how to how to do all these things. Like, that's just as important to me as actually making the stuff for ourselves.
Yeah.
So Australians need to understand shochu.
Need to.
They don't understand it yet.
No,
At
they
the
don't.
moment, we're having a resurgence, a beautiful blooming of awareness of mezcal in
Absolutely,
Australia.
yes.
And mezcal and shochu have a very common kind of not in the way that they're made or anything, but culturally and how it works.
Yeah, an appreciation, I think, of
Yes.
white spirits. A clear spirit like mezcal holds so much flavor, and people are really experimenting with it in cocktails on its own. And they're kind of moved away from that, like, oh, tequila is for getting drunk on, mezcal is for enjoying. And I think there's a lot of analogs there with something like shochu, where it's so.
Well, the tradition as well of small distilleries.
Yes.
And we are going to be a small distillery. We will be artisanal.
Yeah.
Traditionally, shochu is made in very small distilleries in Japan. Like, there's hundreds of them. And same kind of thing in mezcal as well.
And they have a real sense of place as well in
Yes.
Japan. And I think that, like, our sense of place, me... living here in Melbourne for the last 10 years, I have a real sense of place in the area of Melbourne that I live in. You yourself, Fletch, obviously have carved out a little bit of your own, sense of place in Melbourne, and we want to evoke that same feeling. We're living in Melbourne and producing a spirit in Melbourne, and we want to have that community as well.
Yeah. We also, one other kind of final thing on our hopes and dreams of doing this is that Australia is a very unique country with its own very unique produce.
Yeah.
We are not bound by the rules and laws of shochu in Japan, which is, in some cases a good thing, maybe a bad thing, but what we actually want to do with our shochu is also showcase Australian botanicals, Australian fruits, native ingredients, and bring awareness to what those kind of things, especially from an indigenous culture perspective.
Yeah.
Native
support
grains. Exactly, and support indigenous businesses creating native foods and stuff, and introduce that into shochu, which has never been done.
No.
A lot of these things, shochu is such a versatile alcohol.
Because it can be if you haven't listened to watched other videos yet, because of its basic ingredients can be things like rice, which is grown in Australia, can be barley, which is obviously grown in Australia.
A lot of the Japanese shochu is made with Australian barley.
Yes, can be grown with potatoes, which is also something that Australia grows. So there's lots of Australian produce out there, especially sustainable produce, that we want to tap into and turn into the next big thing in Australia, the next most popular spirit in Australia.
Yeah. That's our dreams, right? Our dreams are to do all these things, and it seems like a pie in the sky kind of thing, but we've been going down this route for a while. All of our friends know about this and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're making progress. It's very, very slow.
It's a lot slower than we thought.
It's a lot slower than we thought. However, we have actually made progress. What have we done so far, right?
Well,
in the last year.
We've set up a business.
We have a business. We are an official business. We are registered under Tanoshi Michi, which kind of means back alley, kind of like, Satoshi.
Yeah, we can briefly mention our name. So, we are Tano Spirits, but our trading name is Tanoshi Michi.
Yeah.
Now, Tanoshi itself means kind of fun. It's kind of what we invoke, what we want to produce is fun. And then Michi is sort of more of a road or a journey.
Road or street.
And we want to be tied up with the fact that it's a journey for us, but also it's a street, it's a place that we live in, that we reside in, that most people in Melbourne live on, and it's grounded, I guess.
And it kind of segues into my past as being graffiti street artist.
Being a street artist, yes.
You know, like it's a street, like our one of our major ethos for our brand is to incorporate all of the art, the toys, the creativity of Melbourne scene that I've been involved in for a very long time, and that's engage that and have that as a, like, we want to make
the perfect blend of like the Japanese, like the everything that we want, that we love is part of this brand.
Yes,
and we're really excited to share it with everyone out there once we once we get up and running.
Going back to what we've actually gotten to, the one thing that we haven't gotten to yet, but that we're starting right now. One of the biggest things that we want to do is create a community around this.
Yeah.
We want to engage people. We want to teach people that, you know, gin, whiskey, mezcal isn't the be-all and end-all of spirits. We want to teach it and form that community and have a whole bunch of people involved. You know, we're going to do workshops. We're going to do talks. We're going to do, like, you know, tours. Yeah. We're going to... everything. As soon as we get our location and as soon as we get up and running,
as soon as we can get up and running,
we have a huge amount of things. And that comes back to what we've got done and where we're at now. Where we're at now, we have formed the business. We've done our business planning. We have spent money. We currently have a still under production.
Yeah.
It's a nice still. I think it'll be really good. We are custom making a steamer system, which will allow us to steam our rice, steam our barley, steam our sweet potatoes. That's been custom built for us right now,
which is a unique. It's unique in Australia for making for making spirits.
We're not mashing.
We're not mashing. For those of you out there who know whiskey, who know beer, it is not the same. Not that one's better than the other. It's just, this is just how it's traditionally done in Japan, and that's what we're trying to follow.
We want the flavor profile, and that's how you get the flavor profiles for it. So we're following and paying, as I said before, paying homage to as many of the traditional techniques as we can. It's very challenging, but we have progressed in the past year. Where we are at now, and what you're going to start following us on, is the fact that we do not have a location yet.
Not yet, no.
We do not have a property.
Unfortunately, we can't distill legally in our backyard.
No.
We're not in New Zealand.
We cannot do that.
But yeah, you will be there watching, following along as we locate our place, grand designs type of thing, but hopefully without the cost blowouts.
The highs and the lows. Look, it's in Australia liquor licensing. There's basically two massive things that you need to do. One is a council planning permit, and the other one is the producer's production license and stuff, which is basically gives you the license to produce and sell your alcohol. You cannot do either of those things without having a property. And if you get a property and you don't get either of those things, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's kind of that's the point we're at right now. We're realizing, oh no, I wish I had more money.
Yeah. So at the moment, we've actually looked, and we were close to getting a couple of properties previously. They fell through for a whole bunch of reasons, and now we're at the point where we have one that we are very keen on. It is not ideal. We are not going to find our ideal property. We've already realized that, but we're going to work through that, and we're going to take you on the journey.
Yeah.
Until we get up and running with our stills, you're going to be, and then past that, you're going to be a part of that.
I think what I was thinking about, as you were talking, it was like, not to sound too wanky, but like Tano is not just us. Tano was everyone. Tano was all of you who come on this journey with us.
No, but it's true.
And watch as we fail multiple times.
We're going to fail. We're going to fail multiple times.
Off the ground.
You're going to see that. We're going to be taking the camera with us when we go and look at places. Yeah. Kevin and I
lifting the veil on the business side of things.
Kevin and I do our catch ups on Thursday nights, pretty much, unless we have other things. But we're generally trying to catch up once a week. Yeah. We talk a lot online, but I'm going to record a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, and you're going to kind of see the process of what it takes to create a completely new type of distillery here in Australia.
Yeah, we're really excited to share this journey with you, and I hope that you all are excited too.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot of shit, but
so much shit,
so much
shit. This is the we'll consolidate the shit as we progress through.
Yeah.
But
this is early days. We don't have a format really nutted down. We're just trying things, but we're really excited. We are on this journey. We are invested, and it's either it's make or break. And we're not going to break. We're going to make, because we both want to make shochu.
We both want to make cool shit.
We want to make cool shit.
Yeah, cool shit.
We don't have a ending tagline yet.
No, not yet.
But we're going to work it out. But please subscribe to our channel. Follow us along, and hopefully this journey ends in love and laughter and not a shitload of tears. There will be tears.
There's definitely be tears.
Yeah.
As long as there's like an Australian bottle of shochu,
it's going to be good.
It'll happen.
We're going to make this shit work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Take it easy, guys. And
that's his new one. That's his new.
No. I didn't have a new one. The new one was.
I think it was take it easy.
Take it easy, guys.
Take it easy, guys.
Go and find and drink some fucking shochu.
Listen to watch our other videos if you want to know more.
Watch
about
our
shochu.
videos. We have more.
All right.
All right.